You got value, son? All right, guys. So in this video, we're going to be talking about setting values for your money. Let's do it. For those of you who are new, we talk about how to use money to tackle the past, sow into the present, and plan for the future. So in today's video, I wanted to kind of talk about the importance of giving value to your money. And what I mean by that is by coming up with a set of values that you reflect and connect with as a person. So that way, when you buy things or spend money on things, you don't feel guilty or you don't feel weird when you buy something. So I was reading this book. It's actually right over here. Let me go get it for you. All right. So I was reading this book called Smart Couples Finish Rich by David Bach. And in his book, it kind of talks about the importance of creating a value circle based off of who you are as a person. So that way, when you're creating a financial plan, you're able to stick with it and you don't feel guilty when you do certain things. So he shares some examples of some values that his clients have given him over the years, and I wanted to share you mine. I think one really cool thing about having these values is it kind of serves as a filtering system in a way. So that way, when you want to buy something or something comes up, you can quickly decide, should I buy this or should I not? All right, so get that in frame. All right, so he kind of talks about creating a circle instead of writing them down in a list, because there's not one value that's more important than the other, because they all kind of build off of each other. All right, so I'm just gonna go down my circle of values when it comes to money and why we buy something, and give you an idea of what and why I have this. So my first value that I have is faith. Faith has been a really important part of my personal life and for my personal growth for multiple reasons. And it has helped me just kind of get more confident, but also testing me daily, challenging me to grow as a better person, as a better brother, as a better husband, as a better friend. And when it comes to money, we tithe our 10% every paycheck that we get. So every time we get paid, 10% goes to our local church. And honestly, once we started tithing, we started noticing that even though we were paying 10% from whatever we got paid to the church, there was a lot more money left over at the end of the month. It didn't really make sense, but we were paying more attention to where our money was going. We were trying to pay more attention to how we were using it. We were trying to be more wise with it. And yeah, so one of the big items on my value list is faith. So the second value that's on my circle is marriage. So I've been married for about 2.5 years now, and it's been a pretty crazy ride. But through marriage, I've noticed that it's very important to not only get married, but after that, continuously invest in your marriage so you can continue to just build that relationship. So we invest in like date nights, going out, getting an Airbnb for a couple of days and just experiencing that. So marriage is very important to invest in my current situation. So that's why it's on my list. So another thing on my circle is health. I've noticed that since I have transitioned from college to being a teacher, then going self-employed for a couple of years now, I've noticed drastically that my health has been pretty bad. I got really overweight. I didn't like where I was health-wise. I noticed that I would just walk up a flight of stairs and just be out of breath sometimes. I don't know. I don't know why, but stairs always still get me out of breath. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a mental thing. But anyway, so health has been definitely on my priority list for sure. And through that, I've been able to really just make it a priority to invest in healthy stuff. So like healthy food, healthy habits, and just continuously just pouring back into my own body. Because I know this is the only body that I have, and I need to make sure I take care of it. So health is another one on the circle. Next up on the circle is community. So one thing that I've learned over these past couple of years is that community is super important. Who you know can literally just change the trajectory of your life. We've been able to connect with really cool people over the past years, and honestly just grabbing a cup of coffee with somebody and just hearing their story and being able to possibly help them or them help us, and just kind of just being there with people has been a drastic What's the right word I'm trying to say? Has been just a game-changing experience, honestly. Even one of our largest paying clients has come through just the simple act of getting coffee with someone. Like I said, coffee dates, planning experiences with the family, just getting food with somebody. For me, that's important. That's building community, and that's another thing on my circle. And the last thing on my value circle when it comes to finances is education. So education for me is super important because you can constantly be learning something new. And sometimes when you're learning something new, you have to put in a little bit of money in order to either speed up the process or just get the right stuff that you need to do in order to do it. So learning videography, we had to pour in money in order to get the camera gear, rent out the camera gear, educate ourselves on YouTube, and then just go out into the real world and practice it and get educated. And that was a very valuable time for us. Also, one last thing I want to talk about when it comes to creating a set of values for your money is it's really important to do so, in my opinion, because this world is so easy to kind of get lost in the sauce. So you have friends that are buying houses, you can have friends that are like buying new cars, you can have friends that even are starting their own businesses, and you can kind of get distracted by what everyone else is doing with their money, that you kind of want to jump in on a little bit of all the action. But if you don't take time to think about who you want to become and have your money be the tool to help you achieve those goals that you want, and to have those set of values that kind of frame up and shape up who you are, you're always going to be kind of just distracted. I'm not saying that any of those examples are necessarily bad, but if you're just always following the crowd and not really focusing on your own personal plan, then you're always going to be a little just distracted, and your focused efforts and your focused goals are gonna just not be there. It's gonna be all over the place. So kind of think about it like a drop of water. If like one drop of water is constantly hitting the same spot over this like a long period of time, it's eventually going to create like a deep hole that can eventually even like go through a whole mountain type of thing. But if that same drop of water is just hitting different places on that mountain, then it's really not going to be that much of an effect. It's going to take longer than it would if it was like focused, concentrated effort, one drop at a time. So real quick, just to go over my value circle again, when it comes to finances, it's faith, marriage, health, community, and education. So I really hope this kind of gets you thinking about creating different values for your money and just kind of sticking to it. So I actually encourage you to just write it out in a circle and just put like your initials and be like, yo, this is my value circle. And then later on, if you want, you can kind of like break down what some of those examples would look like. All right, guys, so thank you guys once again so much for watching this video. So in the comments below, drop your top 5 money values that you currently have for yourself right now. So if you need to take some time to kind of think it through, go ahead and do so. But I would love to hear what your top 5 are. So whatever season that you're in, just drop it in there, and I would love to kind of just check it out and have a conversation with you. All right, so until then, I'll see you guys next week on Monday. Peace.